Alright then, so... Here I am streaming again, except this time I'm actually at home.
Danganronpa.
Came here to visit my family because I thought I was getting yesterday off. Turns out I didn't, but... You know, it's still Father's Day, so I went to visit my father and we went out to eat and had a nice time, but... Now let's see who killed our mystery assailant. Well, I guess you'll see. I already know who did it.
Let's begin with a basic explanation of the class trial. So, your votes will determine the results. If you can figure out who done it, then only they will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong one, then I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and the one that deceived everyone else will graduate. Okay, well, I'll leave the rest up to you.
Well then, let's discuss the specifics of the victim. First, we need to clarify who exactly the unidentified victim is.
It's Kyoko! There's no other explanation.
But Kyoko's standing right there.
Yeah.
No! That's a ghost!
But she has legs and stuff.
Well, that's just because... she's like the latest evolution in ghost technology!
There's
Hero,
a limit
why
to
are you
how
still
much
alive?
ridiculously I can tolerate.
Seriously, you think someone would...
Okay. So I
like you would
just
probably
have
be
to
the first
prove
to
that
go
the
when it's right
corpse
off the
isn't
fist.
Kyoko, right? Then let's compare Kyoko's traits to the traits of the dead body.
Her traits?
I got it! I'm talking about her gloves. They'll give us some insight into the mystery. I'm sure of it.
In that case, I think it would be helpful if someone explained why she actually wears those gloves.
And would you happen to know the answer?
In fact, Monokuma told me. Apparently you have scars on your hands you don't want anyone to see.
Oh! You know, now that I think about it, the corpse wasn't wearing any gloves, right?
They probably just got burnt up in the explosion. I'm not convinced. The ghost is just trying to fool us all.
Why are we still entertaining this? I think only Heroes on that. Well, I guess if only 6 people are voting, you need to make everyone count, so,
That Kyoko there is just a ghost.
Impossible.
Okay, then prove it. Prove she's not a ghost.
The dead body wasn't wearing gloves.
They got burnt up in the explosion.
Then she was wearing gloves before the explosion.
Well, yeah, she must have been wearing gloves. Because that corpse is absolutely Kyoko.
This entire discussion is idiotic.
where's the... I keep forgetting.
That Kyoko! Okay, then prove
The dead body was...
They got burnt up in the explosion.
Then she was wearing gloves before the explosion.
Well, yeah, she must have been wearing gloves.
No, he's wrong.
That's Sign of the Apocalypse.
No, there's no way the corpse was wearing gloves. Whoever it was, they were wearing fake nails, remember? I imagine trying to wear gloves over nails like that would have been a pretty big pain. Besides, Kyoko wears gloves to hide her hands, right? It'd be pretty weird for someone who's self-conscious about their hands to wear fake nails, don't you think?
Jeez, man, you don't know women, huh? They're complicated like that.
If anyone doesn't know women, it's you.
Seriously.
Well, Kyoko, any
Makoto has
thoughts?
women falling all over.
These
You're not
gloves
one to
were
tell.
custom made to the size of my hands to make sure they don't interfere with my daily life. If I wore fake nails, the gloves wouldn't fit properly.
Then that's that. The dead body doesn't belong to Kyoko.
Which should have been obvious since she's standing right here.
Yeah, why did you let this go on, Bayaki?
Okay, so then, who's the real victim? First, we need to figure that out.
That's the first thing I said. You're the one who's been dragging us around in circles.
Seriously, Hero, you're making me sad with Bayaki. Feel sad with Bayaki.
If Kyoko really is still alive, then who died?
There's gotta be some way to figure it out. I don't think so. The face was scorched beyond recognition. And there wasn't any description in the Monokuma file. Well, if we can't identify the body...
And there's nothing else we can do, right?
Okay, if we can't identify the body.
If Kyoko really...
Then who died? There's gotta be some... I don't think so. The face was scorched, and there wasn't any description in the Well, if we can't identify the body...
No, that's wrong. There was one clue left behind that we can use to identify the body.
What? For real? If you're lying, you'll die a cruel and unusual death.
Cruel and unusual death. This I gotta see.
She's just being stupid. Ignore them, Makoto. Tell us what you're talking about.
The key to figuring out who it was is the tattoo on the back of her hand.
Oh, yeah. The design's pretty strange, huh? Is this a dog? Her master must have made her get it. To be like, you're my bitch.
Okay, Anastasia Steele,
You really did something that humiliating?
No, that's not it. The identity of the victim is hidden within that tattoo.
Oh, really?
I got it! The Fenrir Mercenary Corps. That's the name of the military group Mukuro Ikusaba belonged to.
Okay, so...
To show that they're a member of the team, each soldier that joins the squad would get a tattoo representing Fenrir somewhere on their body.
Fenrir?
Now I understand.
that was short.
The representation of Fenrir is a wolf.
Fenrir, the Wolf of Ragnarok. It's from Norse mythology. A huge, world-ending wolf face. He's the child of the trickster god Loki, and a female giant.
Man, after all this time, we finally got a glimpse of the literary all-star.
A wolf tattoo. Then that means...
Exactly. The body we found had a tattoo of a wolf, which means that person must have once belonged to Fenrir. So it must have been Mukuro.
What?
Hold on. Isn't she the one that was behind this whole thing?
You sound surprised, but you're absolutely right. Yes, indeed. The trial this time is to solve the murder of Mukuro Ikusaba.
Are you saying the mastermind is dead? And now we have to have a cool-ass trial?
No. It means we were wrong in thinking that Mukuro was the mastermind at all.
But I mean, being the ultimate despair seems like a pretty mastermindy title to me.
Maybe we shouldn't have been thinking of her as the ultimate despair in the first place. After all, looking at her profile, I didn't see anything that would fit such a description. All it said was that she was the ultimate soldier. If I remember correctly, that other information came from Kyoko. That's what you told Makoto, right?
So that means Yoko got it wrong?
And who was she? Who was Mukuro Ikusaba? She's been gone this whole time? And when she finally turns up, she gets killed.
Usually when there's a scene where an important character dies, it has a lot more detail.
So you're saying she wasn't an important character? Which would mean she was the same as us, just another participant.
Then who's the real mastermind?
It must have been the Hope's Peak Academy headmaster after all.
No, the headmaster has nothing to do with it.
But how can we trust that? We already know your information about Mukuro was wrong.
My information was not wrong.
Okay. We're in the middle of a trial right now. Figuring out who killed Mukuro is first and foremost. Please limit all future prattle, chatter, and chit-chat as much as possible.
Fine. Uncovering the identity of the mastermind will have to
Getting
wait.
too close
But
to you,
remember
huh,
this.
Akuma?
No matter what happens, we will find out who you really are. I stake my family name on it.
I have officially decided to completely ignore all such attempts at provocation. Now then, just so nobody's confused, let me state this one more time for the record. The reason we're having a class trial is because a murder among the students has taken place. Hammer that point straight into your big ol' brains!
What you're saying is that both the victim and the culprit are part of the student body?
Then, one of us killed Mukuro?
Wait, no! There's a chance that there's some mystery 17th person who's been hiding all along!
Nope! There are only 16 students in total that have been taking part in these events.
Seriously? Then one of us killed Mukuro?
Who did it? Who's the killer this time?
Get a hold of yourself. We've already narrowed down the list of possible suspects. I'm sure you realize who I'm talking about, right, Makoto? Who the evidence points to?
I got it! You've narrowed it down to Kyoko and me, right?
Why do you say that?
Allow me to explain. Just after nighttime last night, I went to the garden, so I can confirm that at that point, there was no dead body there. So, the murder must have taken place after I left the garden. However, Hiro, Toko, Hina, and I were in the gym the entire time.
The gym?
That's right. The four of us were there trying to dismantle Monokuma. The whole time, we were very careful not to go anywhere alone. We even went to the bathroom in pairs. All of which is to say, the four of us all have alibis. The only ones without alibis
Are me and Makoto. That's why you're able to narrow down the list of suspects.
Makoto and I, Kyoko.
exactly so.
Kyoko and I.
I have something.
Are you thinking of raising an objection?
Well, before that, I just want to try and get a better idea of what time the murder took place. Doing that might reveal some kind of clue.
Whatever you want. Somebody go ahead and help him out.
Me and Byakuya can both confirm that the body wasn't in the garden at... Well, it was after nighttime for sure. I'd say it must have been around 10 o'clock. So the murder must have happened after 10 p.m.
Then I guess we can say the time frame for the murder was between then and when we found the body? Oh, but what time did we find the body?
The one who saw the body first was Toko, right? And she went to go get the pickaxe.
It was 9 o'clock.
A gun!
Yeah.
The body must have been discovered at 9 a.m., since that's when Toko went to get the pickaxe.
Now then, Toko, what time is it? Well, when we left the gym, it was just before 9 o'clock, so it's probably 9 on the dot now. Okay, go get the pickaxe and be back here by 9:01.
He's right. It had to be around then.
So we can be totally sure the murder happened sometime between 10 at night and 9 in the morning.
For me, I was already asleep before nighttime hit, so I don't have an alibi after 10 o'clock. But I'm sure I met up with everyone else before 9 this morning.
We ran into each other in the dining hall, right? That was around... Oh yeah! Right around 7:30. I remember checking right before I went in, so I'm totally sure about it.
Which means from 10 p.m. to 7:30 a.m.
Wait a minute.
You don't have an alibi.
Didn't Hina go to get breakfast alone? Isn't she a suspect? I don't think that's ever brought up.
We've established a time frame for the murder. It took place somewhere between 10 o'clock at night and 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yep, and Makoto doesn't have an alibi for most of that time.
Yeah, from 10 o'clock to 7:30.
That's more than enough time to commit murder, I should think. So Makoto, if you have any objections, now would be the time.
Okay, let's see what Sprinkler says. Then it would have gotten wet. Okay, yeah.
We've established a time frame for the murder. It took place somewhere between 10 o'clock at night and 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yep, and Makoto doesn't have an alibi for most...
Yeah, from 10 o'clock to 7:30.
Oh no, that's not it.
Shoot!
We've established a time frame for the murder. It took place somewhere between 10 o'clock at night and 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yep, and Makoto doesn't have an alibi.
Yeah, from 10 o'clock to 7:30.
That's more than enough time to commit murder, I should think.
So Makoto, if you have any objections,
Yeah, it has to
now
be to
would...
7:30.
We've established
If
a
it isn't
time
the
frame that took
sprinkler,
place
that's the
somewhere
clue that they're
between 10
asking
and
for.
9 o'clock in...
Yep, and Makoto doesn't have an alibi for...
Yeah, from 10 o'clock
Oh wait, or maybe...
to 7:30.
Okay, no, that's not it either.
Shoot!
No, yeah.
We've established a time frame for the murder. It took place somewhere between 10 o'clock and...
Yeah, that's
No,
it.
it's wrong!
Yeah, I know what the clues are, I just don't know what exact logic the game wanted me to
Actually,
follow.
the murder couldn't have happened anywhere near 10 o'clock. It had to have taken place way later.
And what makes you say that?
Because of the sprinklers in the garden. The sprinklers are set to go off right at 7:30 every morning, right? So if the body had been in the garden before 7:30, Then it should have been completely soaked.
Oh, hold on. I remember this part perfectly. The body was wet. Dripping wet, in fact.
Sorry, Toko, but you're wrong.
I'm wrong? How? Are you saying only the mouth down south was wet? How dare you spew such indecent words!
No, I'm saying that the body was wet, but not because of the sprinklers.
What do you mean? By denying the sprinkler, are you trying to deny my entire existence?
Man, you're totally wacko.
If you really think it wasn't the sprinkler, you'd better tell us why!
Oh no, am I doing a full-time battle? Darn.
I admit nothing. I hate you. No, no, no! I don't know anything! Hold on! Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing. I hate you. No, no, no! I don't know anything! Hold on! Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing. Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing. I hate you. How can you say it wasn't the sprinkler?
This should prove it. Just remember what the body was like after the explosion, and you'll see why it wasn't the sprinklers. The top half of the body was wet, yes, but the bottom half was completely dry. If the sprinklers got the body wet, shouldn't the whole body have been wet?
So they only got the top wet? The bottom was completely dry? What a brutal maniac! I'm so sick of her.
Let's just move on.
We're all
The
sick
reason
of
only the
Regina.
top half was wet was because...
If I remember right, this,
while the body was still on fire, I doused it with water. But only the part on fire, the top half.
this trial doesn't go on very long.
Then I guess the sprinklers really didn't do it.
So if the sprinklers didn't get the body wet, then the murder must have taken place sometime after the sprinklers turned on at 7:30 in the morning.
Which means she must have been killed sometime between then and when the body was discovered at 9.
But Makoto's alibi was only missing from 10 o'clock last night to 7:30 this morning, right?
So there's no way Makoto could have done it. I guess you had an alibi after all. Good for you.
In which case, the only one left without an alibi is Kyoko.
I'd just like to say one thing. If you vote for me and I die here, the mystery of this school will stay hidden forever. Which is why I can't let that happen.
So are you saying you're not the culprit?
Of course I'm not. I have no reason to kill anyone. This is a trap the mastermind has laid for us.
A trap?
We're this far into the game and now you decide to blame me? Stop wasting time! Stop wasting energy! You really think your little trick is gonna work?
Shut up, you!
You got it, boss! Shutting up now!
Anyway, Kyoko, you actually did have a reason to kill her.
Huh? She did?
She thought Mukuro was the ultimate despair. In other words, the mastermind behind everything. So she killed her to try and put a stop to all this. Isn't that right, Kyoko? But you made one catastrophic mistake. Mukuro wasn't the mastermind at all. And as a result, we were forced into another trial, something I'm sure you weren't at all expecting.
So, that was her motive?
If she had a motive and no alibi, well then, I think it's pretty clear Kyoko's gotta be the culprit.
I'm not the only one without an alibi. Makoto's explanation is still insufficient.
Huh?
The sprinklers didn't get the body wet, but that doesn't mean the murder happened when he said it did.
What are you...
Because you see, there is a way the body could have avoided getting wet.
Interesting. I'm listening.
All it would take is covering the body with a certain something to keep it from getting wet.
I got it! You're talking about the tarp, aren't you?
You catch on quick. You're right. All you'd have to do is cover the body with the tarp, and that'd take care of the water. In fact, that's exactly what the killer did. The dirt pattern on the tarp can attest to that. Only one side of the tarp got dirty, because that's the side that got covered in water. The side that faced down over the body, meanwhile, kept perfectly clean. This proves that the killer used the tarp to keep the body from getting soaked.
But why would they go to all that effort just to keep the body from getting wet?
Most likely so they could cloud the issue of when the murder actually took place. In other words, to create an excuse exactly like the one Makoto just gave us.
Okay, yeah, but the problem with that is Makoto met someone right when the sprinklers went off and wasn't separated from them then. So even if he did cover the body, there's no way he could have uncovered it in time.
Wait, something's not right.
Yeah,
And
the
what
time
might
I
that
just
be?
mentioned.
Covering the body with the tarp, the killer prevented it from getting wet.
So the reason the tarp was only dirty on one side is because the sprinkler got that side wet.
But the underside of the tarp, it was totally spotless, right?
It's because that side was protected from the water. Since it was facing down toward the body, of course it didn't get dirty.
Sorry,
No, it's wrong.
that clever.
Actually, one side being clean is pretty strange if you think about it. Because the blood wasn't dry before the body got blown up, right? Byakuya said it himself. Not to touch it, or you might get some on you. If you put a tarp on a body in that state, it absolutely would have gotten blood on it.
Well, maybe the culprit washed it, so nobody would know they used it.
If they had, they would have washed both sides. Just washing the one side wouldn't hide anything.
Oh, yeah, true.
More than that, what if the very blood we saw on the body was meant as a kind of camouflage? What if, after the killer used the tarp to avoid the sprinklers, they then covered the body in blood that didn't belong to the victim?
You mean
someone else's blood? Where would they get something like that?
I know! They could have grabbed some of the blood packs from the nurse's office! That's what Hifumi did, right? When he pretended to be dead?
No, that's not what happened this time. The killer got the blood from right there in the garden.
I got it! Could it have been chicken blood?
What? Chicken blood?
When I checked the chicken coop before the murder, there were 5 chickens. But after the murder, there were only 4.
So, you're saying someone killed a chicken and then covered the body with its blood? Man, that's messed up.
Killing a living thing just to do something like that is awful. They should have at least eaten it.
I wonder if the killer had to get the blood from the scene so they wouldn't be spotted walking around. Anyway, there's no denying that a chicken went missing, which provides a basis for my theory.
Perhaps, but even so, there's one thing that still doesn't make sense. You said the culprit used the tarp to avoid the water and then covered the body in blood, right? But if that's the case, then the blood should have soaked into the ground around the body. But that's not what we saw. Only the victim's clothing had blood on it. The ground was completely clean.
I have to agree, that certainly is strange. Maybe they didn't apply the blood at the scene. Maybe they covered the coat in blood beforehand.
They covered it beforehand?
When you discovered the body, was it wearing the coat like you normally would?
I think so. Wait, no. The head was through the neck hole, but the arms weren't in the sleeves.
Then that settles it.
Sorry, I'm having a tough time keeping up. What settles what?
Here's what happened. The murder took place before the sprinklers went off. But the body didn't get wet because the killer covered it with the tarp. Then, later, at the same time the killer was gathering up the tarp, they pulled the coat over the body, the coat they'd already covered in blood. This series of cover-ups was meant to disguise the actual time the murder occurred. They wanted us to think the murder happened sometime after the sprinklers had gone off, at 7:30.
If that's actually what took place, it certainly becomes possible that the murder happened earlier.
But to pull all that off, wouldn't they have had to go back to the garden after the sprinklers turned off?
That actually wouldn't have been all that difficult.
Huh?
They already had the coat ready, so they just had to grab the tarp and pull the coat over the body. They'd be done in no time.
Maybe, but still.
Hina, after you met up with Makoto in the dining hall, did you two stay together from that point on?
Oh no, I headed off to the gym, and Makoto didn't show up till later.
Then he had plenty of time to spare, wouldn't you say?
That's not...
Don't bother saying it's not possible.
I must admit, Kyoko's reasoning is sound. Makoto's alibi is inadequate. Well then, it looks like we're back to square one. Makoto's alibi is no good, so once again, our suspects are him and Kyoko.
For serious, man? Which one of them did it? Hey, why don't we let luck decide? Let's flip a coin. 50-50 odds.
Oh!
See? Pretty good idea, right?
No, not that. I just remembered something super serious.
Well, don't just stand there. Out with it.
You know that knife we found all black and burnt?
The one we found stuck in the body before it exploded, right?
Oh boy.
According to the Monokuma file, the knife went all the way through, from front to back. So, what about it?
I'm pretty sure I'd seen that knife somewhere before. That's what I thought when I first saw it. I just remembered.
Listen, more important. Now that we have the knife, what are we gonna do with it? We can't let Toko keep it, that's for sure. We don't know what she might do. I don't want it anyway. So what to do? Why don't you hang on to it, Makoto?
It's the knife we gave to Makoto?
You don't seem surprised. You must have noticed earlier.
Yeah.
Then why did you hide that fact?
It's not that I hid it. It's just...
I'm gonna show what actually happened last night. I thought maybe I really did kill her.
Suspicious! Very suspicious indeed. The knife we found stuck in the body came from Makoto. Now I'm totally convinced he did it. 12,000% convinced.
Okay, let's see exactly what the new truth board says.
We found lodged in the dead body.
It's the same one we gave to Makoto.
It really is, isn't it? I was afraid of that.
If he did have that knife before, then that seals it. Makoto did it!
Just because I had the knife once, that automatically makes me the killer.
Well, getting stabbed is what killed her, right? So there's no question.
Wait. No, this can't be what killed her. I think it's this guy's dead body.
You took that knife of yours and killed her with it.
What a horrible man you are, Makoto.
The knife we found lodged in the dead body.
Could it be excluded body analysis? No, it has to be
It's
this
the
guy's
same
dead
one
body.
we gave to Makoto.
It really is, isn't it? I was...
If he did have that seals it. Makoto did it!
Just because I had that automatic...
Well, getting stabbed is what killed her.
No, that's wrong! Wait, hold on. The stab wound isn't what killed Mukuro. That should be clear from the description of the cover-up we just heard.
Lies! We never talked about what killed her!
No, don't you remember? The killer covered the dead body with the tarp, and then put the bloody coat on it, right? In other words, the victim never wore that blood-stained coat until after they were dead.
Okay, fine. So what?
So, when we discovered the body, the knife had been thrust through the coat along with the body. Meaning, if she wasn't stabbed until the coat was put on, and she was already dead at that point, obviously the stab wound isn't what killed her.
Maybe you stabbed her twice. Once to kill her and once to cover it up.
I got it! The Monokuma file clearly states that there was only one stab wound.
Oh yeah, it sure did. Totally forgot about that.
Then the knife...
Was just another piece of camouflage set up by the true killer. They probably stabbed her to draw attention away from what actually killed her. Exploding the body afterward was probably meant to do the same thing. The explosion severely damaged the body, making it impossible to know what really killed her. It was all the killer's attempt to destroy all evidence of their crime.
So they wanted us to notice the stab wound and then detonated the body afterward. They meant for us to latch onto the knife as the cause of death, then destroy any evidence proving otherwise.
Oh, hey, I have a question. It kinda goes back to the beginning, but... what's the deal with that explosion anyway? Why'd the body just blow up all of a sudden like that?
If you bothered to put that lump of gray matter between your ears to use, you'd know the answer.
Well, if you're so smart, just tell me.
I'll tell you. I bet some unknown quantum particle caused an atomic level spontaneous combustion!
Hero, stop
I might
talking.
be dumb, but even I'm not dumb enough to believe that.
Go ahead, Makoto. Tell her or we won't make any headway on this.
I just love how Byakuya seems to actually have some... Like, he actually seems to like Makoto a little bit, but even with that, he's just not a good enough person to actually treat anybody halfway decently. Like, he has him as his partner and everything, but, yeah.
I got it! After the explosion, we found a tiny fragment of something on the ground near the body, right? That fragment reveals the cause of the explosion.
Huh? You know, I feel like I've seen something like it somewhere before.
That's only natural, because, of course, we saw the same thing when we dismantled Monokuma. It's part of a bomb.
Oh! Then the explosion was because of the Monokuma bomb.
Anyway, the culprit's motive is becoming more and more obvious by the minute. They wanted the knife wound to look like the fatal injury so that we'd suspect Makoto. And the only one who would benefit from that is the only other possible suspect. You, Kyoko.
Hold on a second, Byakuya.
What's the problem?
Well, I just feel like we need to think this through. We still don't know what actually killed the victim.
That's true. It's definitely bugging me. What really killed her?
Fine. I have no problem with that. Let us continue the debate. It won't change the facts of the case regardless.
We need to determine what ultimately killed the victim. I need to concentrate. What are we doing now? Debate or hangman's debate? Monokuma File 5.
Then, shall we continue the debate? The victim's fatal injury has yet to be determined, correct?
The explosion didn't kill her for sure.
Well, yeah. She was already totally dead when that happened.
And it wasn't you because of the knife, right? And then there's only one other thing.
Oh yeah. According to the Monokuma file, that's gotta be it. There was evidence that showed she was hit on the back of her head.
And more than that, the victim had suffered countless wounds across her entire body. Then shall we continue?
Okay, let me check with this. Okay, so it has to be...
The victim's fatal injury has yet to be
The
determined.
explosion didn't kill her for sure.
Well, yeah.
And it wasn't because of the... There's only one other...
Oh yeah. That's gotta be it. There was evidence that showed she was hit on the back of her head.
And more than that, the victim had suffered countless wounds across her entire body.
Is that the... Okay. I know which one those is right. I know now.
Then shall we continue? The victim's fatal...
The explosion didn't kill...
Well, yeah.
And it wasn't
Oh yeah. That's gotta be it. There was evidence that showed she was hit on the back of her head.
Shoot! Then shall we continue? The victim's fatal injury has yet to be determined, correct?
The explosion didn't kill her for sure.
Well, yeah.
And it wasn't
Oh yeah. That's gotta be it.
And more than that, the victim had suffered countless wounds
Okay, I'm
across her
like totally...
Then shall we continue the debate? The victim's fatal injury has yet to be
Oh,
determined.
wow,
The
wait.
explosion didn't kill her.
Well, yeah.
And it wasn't
I forgot about the absorb thing. It's been a while since we used that mechanic. Thanks,
That's gotta
Amos.
be it. There was evidence that showed she was hit on the back of her...
And more than that, the victim had suffered countless wounds across her Then shall we continue?
The victim's fatal injury has yet to be determined.
No, that's wrong.
I feel kind of silly now.
Mukuro died because of the blow to the back of the head she suffered.
What about the wounds all over the rest of her body? They didn't have anything to do with it?
The Monokuma file makes it clear that those weren't fresh wounds.
Oh yeah, good point. If they were old, I guess they don't really matter.
Okay, then we're safe in assuming the blow to the back of her head is what killed her.
But then, what was the murder weapon? The Monokuma file says she was hit with a blunt object, about as thick as a metal pipe.
Oh, I bet it was the pickaxe.
How is that even possible? If you hit someone with that, it'd cave their skull in completely.
Well, maybe they held it the other way and hit her with the handle.
No way! The balance would be all off. You wouldn't be able to swing it with any kind of power. I wouldn't mind testing it on you.
Okay, I think a little bit of genocide gel is creeping through to you,
I
Toko.
bet you just hit me with the metal end and call it an accident.
I'd love to scoop out that nasty brick.
I feel the same way. Looks like we're...
Seriously?
We want to figure out what killed her, right? It just so happens we already know.
We already know? I knew we could count on you, Master.
So what was it?
Go ahead and tell them, Makoto. Surely you've deduced the real murder weapon.
I got it! Mukuro was hit in the back of the head with something. And that's what killed her. And that something was the titanium arrow we found in the locker in the dojo.
An arrow? That's what the culprit attacked Mukuro with?
Indeed. There's no doubt about it.
Are you sure? That sounds kind of weird. Hey! How dare you backtalk, Master? You have no right! I'm not backtalking anything. I'm just saying what I think.
The titanium arrow. It was in the dojo locker, right? I have no doubt that was the murder weapon.
Are you sure?
You don't sound convinced. What's the problem?
Well, because in the Monokuma file, it said the weapon must have been about as thick as a metal pipe, right? It seems like an arrow would just be too thin.
Oh, that's...
Back to mask, you have no right!
The titanium, it was
In the dojo, I have no doubt that was the murder.
Are you sure?
You don't sound convinced.
Well, because It said the weapon must have been about as thick as a metal pipe, right? It seems like an arrow would just be...
No, it's wrong! You're right. Just the one arrow would have been too weak. That's why the killer used another weapon.
Another weapon?
Inside the dojo locker, we also found a balled-up wad of duct tape. The killer probably uses duct tape to bind multiple arrows together. Bundling them together using the duct tape would easily create a single weapon as thick as a pipe. And that's exactly what the killer did.
I usually forget.
It's similar to Aesop's fable about the bundle of sticks. One stick is weak. To put them together, and they become strong. It's meant to teach cooperation.
Damn, that's harsh.
How is it harsh? If you even are listening.
Anyway, that explains the murder weapon. As for who the culprit is that stashed the weapon in the dojo locker, it was you, Kyoko.
I've never been to the dojo.
Oh no, you absolutely have.
How can you say that with such confidence?
Because we have proof, of course. Don't we, Makoto? What's the matter? Surely you don't intend to protect a murderer. You know what will happen if you do, don't you? If you cover for the culprit, there's only one thing that can lead to. The death of us all, remember?
Of course I remember.
Then show us. Show everyone the evidence that proves Kyoko went to the dojo.
I got it! The one thing that proves Kyoko was in the dojo is right here. The key to the dojo locker.
And how does that prove anything?
Because I found it in your room.
It was... in my room?
Don't bother trying to play dumb. That key is just the final piece of the puzzle. Your non-existent alibi, your clear motive, your attempts to frame Makoto for the crime. This all proves that you are the true culprit. You can't explain this away, so just give up.
Hold on a second.
Not this again. You really are dead set on defending her, aren't you?
He's already lost one love interest.
It's not that I want to defend her. It's just, there's one more thing I need to ask her. Kyoko, I want you to tell me something. Last night, you were in my room, weren't you? Why? What were you doing there? That's what I need to know.
I was just... protecting you.
What?
She was protecting me? Does that mean she has a bad feeling? No, trust me. She knew I was being attacked. And she came to my rescue. Could that be when... which would mean that Kyoko... she killed someone for me.
That's enough. The time for idle chatter is over. A verdict is close at hand.
Wait. I'm warning you. Don't make this mistake. I'm not the killer.
I knew you were stubborn, but this is just getting ridiculous.
Really? But you should know better than anyone I didn't do it. Can you tell me I'm wrong?
I should know?
What? Wait, I guess you know better than anyone? What does that mean?
Those words you just spoke, what do you mean?
Exactly what I said. I'm not the killer. You should understand that more than anyone here.
Byakuya, what are you hiding?
Master would never hide something from me!
There's proof that you aren't the culprit. Is that what you're saying?
You stated a theory earlier. You said I hid the evidence of my crime in the dojo lock and then left the locker key in my own room, but could I really have done that?
Oh!
Those words you just spoke.
Exactly what I said. I'm not the killer. You should understand that more than anyone here.
Byakuya,
What are you...
Master would never hide something.
There's proof that you aren't the culprit. Is that what you're saying?
You stated a theory. You said I hid the evidence of my crime and then left the locker key in my own room.
But could I really have done that?
Those words you...
Okay. Dang it.
just spoke.
Okay,
What do you mean?
Exactly what I said. I'm not the killer. You should understand that more than anyone here.
Byakuya,
What are you hiding?
Master would never hide something from...
There's proof that you aren't the culprit. Is that what you're saying?
You said I hid the evidence of my crime and then left the locker key in my own room, correct? But could I really have done that?
yeah, I'm trying to think.
Those words you
I'm
just
trying to
spoke.
think what exactly they want me to do, because I know what she's
You should
talking about
understand
now.
Byakuya,
Master would
I'm trying to
never
remember
hide something from...
exactly.
There's proof that you aren't the culprit. Is that what you're saying?
Like, because remember,
stated
she
a
gave
theory
the...
earlier. You said I hid the evidence of my crime in the dojo locker, and then left the locker key in my own room, correct? But could I really have done that?
Because... Yeah, because
Those words you
Because, like...
Exactly what I said. I'm not the killer. You should understand that more than anyone here.
Byakuya, what are you hiding?
Master would
I just
never
can't
hide
quite
something
remember
from
the
me.
logic of it, how to expose that.
There's proof that you aren't the culprit.
There we go.
It's wrong.
I'm trying to remember exactly how the game wanted me to reveal that.
If I'm right, Kyoko wouldn't have been able to get into her room.
Huh? Why not?
Because she had given her room key to Byakuya.
I see. So that's what you meant. And if I had the key to your room...
Then obviously I had no way of getting in. Without my room key, I couldn't have possibly put the locker key in there myself. Am I wrong?
It would appear not.
Then you're finally starting to understand.
I got handed by Yake. He took being wrong pretty gracefully there. Okio just told us an obvious lie. But this just doesn't like her. Does she really feel that threatened? Because she's a killer? Or is it something else? Keep remembering to what Kyoko said earlier. You go for me and I die here, the mystery of the school will stay in forever. Which is why I can't let that happen. This is a trap the mastermind has laid for us. Okay, this coming up. The mastermind's trap, the victim. Okay, I just want to say, this coming up, I think the wrong decision the first time I played, and I'll explain what I mean when we get there. What does Kyoko really know? What am I supposed to do? Kyoko's lie. I'm the only one who knows it's a lie. I'm the only one who can expose it. Right, because she had the skeleton key to get back in her room. Mastermind's trap. You spend all your time trying to avoid danger, you'll never move forward. We know the danger, but if that risk means solving the mystery, we have no choice. Am I wrong? What do I do? See, I picked Pursue the Lie first time because I am so used to the Ace Attorney games where the truth is always held up to be the most important thing. But that will lead to the bad ending. You know we're close. Nah, I'm just gonna go ahead and... I'm just gonna do what you're supposed to. I have to believe in Kyoko. There's no way she would kill someone. Has to be some serious, something that has to do with the mastermind's trap that Kyoko's mentioned.
Well, does no one have a rebuttal? Have you decided to accept her assertion as fact? I see. So you still refuse to accept it. I suppose we have to admit that Kyoko didn't put the locker key in her room, that it was someone else.
But who else could it have been?
I mean, Byakuya had a room key, right?
You! What are you trying to imply?
But of course I have an alibi. From nighttime on, I was with you guys the entire time. I couldn't possibly have killed anyone, or put the key in Kyoko's room.
Someone had to put the key in there.
There's only one other possibility I can think of. Someone could have had the key on them, then once they arrived at the scene, pretended to find it there.
It had to be Makoto, right?
I don't see any other option.
Wait a second. You've got it all wrong. Let's think about it one more time. There's gotta be a hidden side to this case.
Huh? A hidden side?
First of all, there's something off about this entire trial. You all see it, don't you? Mukuro, who we didn't even know existed, suddenly shows up dead. And then we're thrown into a trial. And Kyoko even said, it's a trap the mastermind set for us. So that's why this has to be...
Okay, time's up!
Huh?
Time's up! Class trial's all over! Everyone can stop talking now!
What?
Nervous, Monokuma?
What do you mean time's up? There's no time's up. Since when have we...
It's because you were late! So we had to push back the start time! So then, it's time for voting time, okay? Everyone, please vote using the lever in front of you!
Voting time?
Okay.
Now, who will be chosen as the blackened? Will you make the right choice or the dreadfully wrong one?
Hey, hold on!
What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be?
What? You think I'm the killer? Sorry, man.
Sorry.
Yeah. This is all your fault. Everyone, you're wrong. You got it all wrong. I didn't do it.
Yes, indeed.
Good job, everyone. Good job.
Yep.
Yeah, they got it right. No, I know that's not true. That doesn't make any sense. The whole trial doesn't make any sense.
Hey!
It makes perfect sense! It stands always, it's just like all the other class trials, and I'm gonna end it the same way.
Thrills! Chills! Kills!
It's time for your heart-pounding, causally thrilling punishment! Wait, why do I... Kyoko.
I don't expect you to forgive me. I know this is all my fault.
Kyoko?
Let's give it everything we've got! It's punishment time!
If Makoto hadn't been narrating the story in the past tense, I think he was dead. He's dead here. Now, I'll explain what the bad ending was in a moment. one thing that kind of disappointed me at the anime is that they do the execution scenes in this style instead of making them fully animated. Well, I guess some of them would become pretty gruesome otherwise, but yeah. You know, I looked at what they looked like in the anime, it was like almost lifted. It might have been reanimated a bit, but a casual observer would probably think they were lifted right out of the game. What a way to go. I gotta hand to Makoto. He's got pretty bad nerves for this. That's right, alter egos to the rescue. Looks like he set up one final screw you to Monokuma.
What?
Huh? Huh? What's this? What's going on? Hey, was that? Yeah, it had to be.
This is...
Alter ego? Is this some stupid virus from that stupid guy? He must have planned it when he invaded my network. Damn it all to hell, I don't believe this.
It would seem...
You finally made a miscalculation. No, you miscalculated from the very beginning.
What the heck?
In other words...
What I'm saying is you shouldn't have underestimated us. Why are you talking like you've already won? I barely felt a thing. It was a pinch, an itch. The stupid virus is gone now, got it? And so is Makoto. Maybe I don't get to smash him flat, but you'll never gonna see him again. To waste away in a garbage strewn pit. In a way, that's an even better special punishment. But still not enough. I'm still not satisfied. I'm still gonna be fair to the rest of you. Bring the spirit of the entire world. Is he gone? Hey Kyoko, what's the meaning of all this? Just what the hell's going on?
Calm down.
It's okay. We're not the ones being trapped this time. Huh?
In other words...
Now it's the mastermind that's ensnared.
What did you say?
So...
You'll understand soon enough. Very soon indeed. Okay. If you choose to pursue the lie and you expose Kyoko, she will go off to execution. But Alter Ego will not save her. And with that, the truth dies, and you get a shot of the remaining prisoners years later, where they're taking a picture where Hina's carrying the kid she's had with Byakuya, Hiro, and Makoto. With Toko apparently being dead. That is the bad ending. But Kyoko's still alive, so the mastermind is still on the ropes. It's like the skull stands at the center of the entire world. Hope's Peak Academy. It brings the top students from every field imaginable, a government-funded school of privilege. They say if you come here and manage to graduate, you'll be set for life. With 100 years tradition, it sends the cream of the crop in the workforce every year. It was built to raise hope in the nation's future, which makes Hope's Peak a pretty fitting name. There are two things you need to attend this school. One, you have to already be attending high school. Two, you have to be the very best at what you do. No ordinary student can enroll here. The only way in is if you're scouted by the school itself. And staying there that gave the ultimate school filled with the ultimate students was me. What? Where am I? Yeah, you're probably recognizing this as the early part of the game. And here we are, finally. And mind and body start to come back together again, and then I was awake. Or was this just another dream? A dream inside a hopeless nightmare. No, this isn't a dream. I could tell because the stench invading my nostrils was too powerful for a dream. What an awful smell. I was in a vast dark cavern with the barest hint of light seeping in. Trash was piled high across the area. This must be some kind of underground garbage pit. A heck of a situation to find myself in. But that was just the beginning of my problems. Was I going to be stuck in there until I wasted away and died? No, I can't let that happen. Not after what my good friend went through to save me. I remember all too well what had happened. Alter Ego saved me. He used up the last little bit of his strength to do it. So I can't give up now. For myself and for my friend. And with that, my pursuit of survival began. First step was to start looking for a way out of there. This is a desk. Probably one that fell down with me. An airplane. Well, I got everything in the game, and so there's really no need to a rocket and a tank. I really don't think too much what I'm seeing down here. It's locked. It didn't budge. Isn't gonna be that easy. Well, if I'm not getting out of here anytime soon, let's say I look around for some food. Plenty of food here, but it's all rotten. But that was pointless too. That's correct. It is a rocket from the opening execution. How can I be sure which sleepers to drink and which ones are an all-around bad idea? You might just have to drink whatever if you get hungry enough. As long as I'm alive, I'll never give up. The next thing I decided to do was go to sleep. My sleep was deep and uninterrupted. That was the only way to preserve what little strength I had left after not being able to eat or drink. I can't be sure, but I think at least a full day had to have passed. All I did was sleep and sleep. It was like waiting for some kind of sign to come falling out of the sky. However, what fell from the sky wasn't a sign, not exactly. What the? Strange sound pierced my silent isolation, jarring me awake. As I watched, the bodyguard jostle and formed an odd shape. Did something fall down over there? Something fell from up above. What could it have been? A giant piece of trash fell down here. I barely stretched my hand toward whatever it was that fell down here with me.
Just a second.
A giant piece of trash? Rude. Knew you coming for me, Kyoko.
It smells awful.
Kyoko?
Indeed.
You look like you're doing better than I expected. What are you doing down here?
So...
Isn't it obvious? I'm here to help you. I'm glad to hear that, Kyoko. You got a little bit of garbage in your hair.
Hey.
First of all, I have something for you. Go ahead and eat. We can talk when you're finished. Thank you. I stood and watched she was holding out for me. Then seconds in my mouth and making way toward my stomach. That really hit the spot. Now I got all the energy I need to keep going. So you stopped giving up then? Of course not. After all, the fact that I can keep going forward is about all I'm good at.
Hmm?
Well, that's not such a bad thing to be good at. But Kyoko, why'd you come to rescue me?
So...
To pay a debt. Or, no, to atone. Atone? During the trial, even though you knew I was lying, you didn't say anything. So, you knew that I knew.
Indeed.
But even though I knew, I did nothing to help you.
I...
Abandon you. Don't say that. You didn't abandon me. No, that's exactly what I did. I abandoned you in order to save my own life. You were trying to save me. I couldn't bring myself to do the same for you.
However...
But listen, not that I'm trying to make excuses, but... there was a reason I had to survive no matter what the cost.
It's true.
I'll tell you everything. The reason I have to survive...
in other words...
is so I could do what I came to this school to do. What? I know I had to come over to the academy for one very important reason. So you have some reason for coming to Hope's Peak?
Indeed.
That's right, at least I did once. Once? Until recently, I'd forgotten what it was. You forgot, but that's... I had no memory of what my purpose was. No memory? That's impossible. Amnesia?
Makoto.
Do you remember Makoto? Do you remember the first thing that happened to each of us as soon as we arrived at this school? The first thing? You're talking about when we fainted, right? I fainted and woke up, I was trapped here.
That's right.
I fainted too, and when I woke up, I had a strange feeling of separation within myself, a disconnect.
It would seem...
Thinking back on now, at that point my memory was gone. At that time, I'd forgotten. I couldn't remember why I came to school, and I couldn't remember what my ultimate ability was. But, what would make you forget all that?
Hey.
Strange, isn't it? It's hard to imagine it happened by chance. It seems much too convenient. Are you saying that you think you lost your memory because...
Indeed.
I don't think. I'm positive that the work of the mastermind. They stole my memory. But why would they want to do that? There's only one reason I can come up with. Because of my purpose and my ability. Somehow they would interfere with the mastermind's plans. So the mastermind just stole them from you?
However...
And it could also mean... somehow memories may be connected to the mystery of the school and the mastermind. Which is why I have to get them back. That's why I've been investigating things by myself this whole time. But if what you say is true, why didn't you ask the rest of us to help you?
Why is that?
If I did that, we would have all worked as one. The mastermind would have noticed right away. Plus, there's always a chance that the mastermind is actually one of us. What?
Correct.
Well, don't make too big a deal about it. It's just a possibility. But since it is a possibility, we can't ignore it, right? The mastermind, one of us. She laughed, and of course she couldn't trust anyone around her. In which case, it only makes sense that she would look into her missing memory by herself.
However...
That being said, there was a limit to what I could do by myself, which is why I asked you to help me. But, why me? Because among everyone, you were the least likely to be the mastermind. That was just intuition, but... I see. Your intuition's right, though. There's no way an ordinary kid like me could have been the mastermind.
I understand. I should understand everything. My goal isn't to get out of here. It's to stay here.
It's like John had before, but... why did that just happen?
Listen.
Are you okay? Oh yeah, it's nothing. It is nothing, right?
Hey.
Even now, I still trust you, you know. It's just, I'm not used to relying on others.
Correct.
I know I never asked you to help the right way, so I understand if you're not convinced. Honestly, I was convinced. I think that's just her personality. You say draw that investigate on your own. So, how'd that turn out? Were you able to remember anything?
So...
I think there's a lot I don't remember, but at the very least, I was finally able to recall my purpose and my ability. What I want you to know me for, I'm the ultimate detective. Ultimate detective?
Correct.
Whenever I came to OSP Academy, there was someone I had to find here in the school. You had to find someone? Who?
So...
Well, it was the headmaster of Hope's Peak Academy. The headmaster? Why do you want to find the headmaster? Because he's my father. What?
In other words,
I was served from as a child. As it turns out, he became the headmaster of Hope's Peak Academy. Kyoko's dad is Hope Peak Academy's headmaster? Then that explains. When I already told us he thought the headmaster was involved. I'll find a way. Huh? No matter what it takes, I will find the headmaster.
No matter what?
So,
Kyoko? What's going on? My memory hadn't come back at this point, but when he said that, I felt strange. That makes sense.
However...
But listen, Makoto, I want to make this perfectly clear so there's no misunderstanding. I said I meant with the mastermind, but I didn't say that to protect him. I only said that based on what I'd seen when I stuck into the headmaster's room. Then, what'd you see in there?
So...
The room had been ransacked, the shelves were a mess, the desk drawers were dumped on the floor. The only conclusion is that someone who didn't know where anything was had been in there. You mean the mastermind, right?
It's true.
That was my assumption, yes, and to confirm my suspicion, I decided to investigate the second floor of the dorms using the key I'd found. But why there? Because I also found this in the headmaster's room. This is some kind of map?
Indeed.
It's the layout of the entirety of Hope's Peak Academy. I found the headmaster's room, along with Makuro's profile and the key. The map showed that the second floor was home to a number of rooms meant for faculty use. Some of the staff must have stayed overnight from time to time. And I figured the headmaster would have some kind of private room there. I assumed that if that were true, the room would likely hold more clues, so I went to check.
Correct.
Without my purpose was to find the owner of that room. So we went there to see if the headmaster really did have a private room there.
However...
But once I got there, I noticed that the second floor dorms didn't have cameras or monitors. What was it like, that part of the school, I mean? All I could say is... The moment I saw it, I realized... What do you mean?
So...
You need to see it for yourself, and I'm sure you'll get the chance soon enough. Shouldn't we get out of here now, huh?
However...
Just to be perfectly clear, I didn't kill her. I know it wasn't you either. I know you're right, but that just means... I know about you and me had an alibi, so then who did kill her?
Anyway...
Well, I can't say for sure that the mastermind is directly involved. To begin with, the point of the class trial of Makuro Ikasaba was to get me killed.
Indeed.
I saw Ikeen disappeared, so in retaliation they wanted to draw me out and eliminate me.
Correct.
That was the point of the class trial. It was? The mastermind knew they couldn't interfere directly. You mean because of school regulations?
That's right.
Exactly.
In other words...
Masterminds haven't found the rules, and with that rule in place, they couldn't step in. So they couldn't kill me themselves, they had to try to use the class trial to do it. The mastermind themselves is somehow bound by the school regulations.
Hey.
There's one other thing I'd like to point out about murder of Makuro Ikusaba. What's that? There was a point where Makuro may have become the victim, may not have become the victim. It could have been you, Makoto. I could have been the victim?
Indeed.
You know what I'm talking about, right? Do you mean... during the night? I can hear them, you know. The footsteps of the god of death. What? I hear the god of death as he moves. That ability naturally draws me into cases just like this. We are the music makers. We are the dreamers of dreams.
Anyway...
Which is exactly what happened with you. I was in the dorms and all of a sudden I had such dread. I looked down the stairwell. I saw a white shadow across the corridor. I gave chase right away. As I fell, I saw the shadow go into your room.
Correct.
I ran into your room and I saw what was happening. I intervened immediately, of course.
However...
That was the end of things, of Whoever the masked assailant was, they ended up dead.
Correct.
And their murder was disguised, and the dojo key wound up in my room. It ought to be the work of the mastermind in an attempt to use the class trial to eliminate me. So that would mean whoever killed Makuro was also the mastermind, right?
Indeed.
I don't have conclusive evidence, but that is what I think. But that's really bad if true. It means the mastermind can kill whoever they want if they feel like it. But wait, doesn't that can't create another contradiction? The mastermind wanted to use the class trial to try to kill you because it couldn't interfere, right?
Correct.
You're right, that is a contradiction. And it's not just Mikuru. They need the class trial to kill me, but seemed ready to kill you in your room. Everything they did is a contradiction. So what does that all mean?
In other words...
It means that the mastermind is the one who's been cornered. Huh?
Makoto.
Just a little more. A little more and I should be able to figure out the mastermind's identity. The identity of the other ultimate despair. There's no doubt that Mikuro was the ultimate despair and that she's dead. But I don't think the ultimate despair is just one person. It's not?
Indeed.
You think about it, the ultimate spirit seems to implicate whoever caused the events. They're talking about...
That's right.
What happened a year ago. The biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. Whoever's responsible for that.
It would seem...
This despicable group whose only purpose and motivation comes from despair. Then there.
Indeed.
Make no mistake. They're the root of all evil that's forced us to go through this. That is the ultimate despair. That is our real enemy. And chapter 5 is officially finished. I guess it's time to call it. Or maybe I should keep going. This is pretty early for a Danganronpa stream. Maybe I can make it to the class trial before the end of the night. 1 year ago. The same people who put together this killing game and broadcasting it around the world. Group of people ever. That is Mastermind's true identity. I mean, it's finally been revealed. But right now...
Anyway...
We have to get out of this horrible place. We have the rest of the story can come after. Can we get out of here yet? You saw that one thing? One cool secret tool that you got from the headmaster's room?
Indeed.
Of course I do. It's an absolutely vile part of ensnaring the mastermind. I would never part with it. And it can open any door in the school, right?
That's right.
That's right. Then we should be able to use on that door, right? Okay, let's open it. You think...
It's true. Indeed.
Ultimate pain, ultimate sun, ultimate fear, ultimate execution, ultimate death. That just rolls right off the tongue. I'm just remembering that episode of Digimon Frontier where JP and Zoe had to go off the ladder and JP decided to be a gentleman, let the lady go first and didn't remember until too late that Zoe was wearing a skirt and how that made sound.
Hey.
Yeah, Kyoko, probably the best you did mention that. Is there something I wanted to ask you? You said you're the ultimate detective, right? So how long have you been doing detective work? How long?
So...
Ever since I can remember. I came from a long life of detective. Detective work is in my blood. There was a time being a detective was considered a secret duty. My father's always seen it that way. Then is your family famous?
Wrong.
Quite the opposite, actually. Even my actual detective, many people haven't heard of us. But how come? It's like your family tradition, right? So...
Right.
Because we take pride in it. Pride?
Indeed.
Detectives neither light nor shadow. We represent neither justice nor evil. That is just how we can uncover the absolute truth. And now I'm thinking of Dollhouse, believe it or not. When Echo, like, was then pretending to be a bank robber, and, like, one of the other robbers asked why they'd never heard of her before, she's so good. She asked, have you ever heard of Bonnie and Clyde? And the guy, thinking that he's messed up, said, yeah, they died. And he's like, exactly, because they wanted to be famous, not good, and they died for it.
It's true.
It's kind of old-fashioned. I can't say it's entirely rational. But it's our family creed, and we do what we must to protect it. Because, like I said, it's our source of pride. Pride. So that explains it. We got men from us go online, never saw anything about her. Because she hid herself on purpose to protect pride of her family.
However...
And yet, I gave up some of that pride. Huh? In order to send her out to speak, I had to reveal myself to the school. I did it knowing that it was something a true Kirigiri detective would never do. But the reason you gave up that pride, the reason you would go so far to enter Hope's Peak, it was because of how much you wanted to reconnect with your dad, right? There's no shame in that.
What?
Reconnect? Absolutely no desire to reconnect with my father. Huh? But you're in all those years, right? So what if you had... So, you would have had so much to talk about.
Wrong.
There's nothing to talk to my father about.
However...
There's something I wanted to say to him, though. What? No matter what it takes, I have to find him and tell him, face to face. What is it?
So...
I want to sever all ties with him. Sever? Last time I saw him, I was still very young. So I don't remember myself, but apparently he was extremely intelligent. He was in line to become the next head of the Kirigiri family. He was talented, and he had a promising future.
However...
But he had no interest in detective work. So he cut himself off from the family. Not long after that, my mother died, and he simply ran away. He went to my grandfather. They had a huge argument, and young as I was, he left me behind. I'm sure there was a reason for that. I'm sure your dad wanted to take you with him.
Right.
If that's true, then I need to thank him. Thank him for leaving me. Because unlike him, I take pride in the work I do. I take pride in my family name. So every last part of me is happy he didn't take me with him. So I couldn't tell. I couldn't see how she looked when she said that, what she might have been feeling. All I could do was tell her that compared to her usual self, she was more talkative and more emotional. He had his own life to live. That's what anyone in my position might say, right? But it's not true.
However...
But there's one thing I can never forgive.
So...
The way everyone else looked at me. I was never sad about being left behind. Like I said, I think it was a good thing.
However...
But when the rest of my family looked at me, they saw something different. They almost saw me as that little girl that was abandoned by her father. That's how they see me even this day. His shadow's been following me my entire life. I'm sick of it. I need him out of my life. I need to step out of his shadow.
Correct.
In order to sell the past, in order to remove from my life forever, I have no doubt he forgot about me years ago. To just come out like that.
Wrong.
Only connected through blood, nothing more. And we're connected. Are we connected by heart and soul? No.
Hey.
Is blood really enough to call someone family? Only connected by blood, not by heart or soul. I was so shocked to hear her say something like that. I didn't want to know how to respond. So instead, I said nothing. I just kept climbing the ladder in complete silence. And after I don't know how long, we finally reached the top. Looks like this is it.
Indeed.
The other side of the door. Hope's Peak is waiting for us. We're back.
That's right.
Remember that hatch on the ground near the trash room? I'm fairly certain that's where we'll come out. I unlocked it early, so it should open without much trouble. Here goes nothing. Looks like we're back. But I can't believe how long the ladder was. I'm exhausted. Kinda like to say we're safe and sound, but at least we're out of there. Now we're back in Hope's Peak Academy. Kyoko, thank you. I would never gotten out of there without you. No thanks necessary. I will just return the favor. So, now what do we do? I'm glad we didn't die, of course, but if the mastermind finds out... I'm worried about you too. You helped me, so they might...
Listen.
You're worried? Yeah, of course.
So then
let's just get a concrete answer. Huh?
In other words...
Let's ask Monokuma if there's a problem with you escaping. Wait, that's...
However...
But we try to hide, it's only a matter of time till we find out, and it's not like we can run away. We'll get nearby surveillance camera. So you're saying rather than stressing out we're getting caught, we should just give up now? Don't worry. What you think is going to happen isn't. Because the mastermind is the one that's ensnared.
So...
The mastermind stood exposed during the investigation of Makuru's death. That was a moment when the mastermind let their guard down. There was?
Right.
If we can talk to Monokuma, we can confirm it. And it'll be better for us to go directly to him before he tracks us down. That should help with our negotiations. I'm still a little, super uneasy about this.
Indeed.
Monokuma should be in the gym.
Shall we go?
Let's get going. Yeah, let's get going. Monokuma, we're coming for you.
Well now.
Hey! Kyoko, I don't mind so much.
I don't believe it!
But Makoto's supposed to be dead. What's he doing here? That's exactly how I thought he'd react. Are we really gonna be okay? You were supposed to be punished. Did Kyoko help you?
What?
So what if I did? What would you do?
Shing!
If the guilty party exposed during the class trial, they alone will be executed. It's unfortunate, but that is the rule. So now I gotta punish you again.
Angry!
And this time, I won't leave anything to chance. Kyoko.
Right.
Do whatever you have to do. What?
However...
But before you do, let me just say one thing.
No.
If you execute Makoto, that means you lose. Not that that matters to you, right?
Huh?
I lose?
Hey!
You, explain yourself. What do you mean by that?
Because...
Well, you set up the last trial yourself, right? I was getting in your way, so you wanted an excuse to kill me.
In other words...
I was supposed to be chosen to blacken and then executed, right? Hey, what are you talking about?
However...
But when Makoto chose to overlook my lie, your plane came crashing down. His other trial weren't at all what you were expecting. Because you never imagined that in that position, one person would protect another like that.
Right.
And in response to that unexpected development,
Indeed.
you overcame our crony Makoto the Blacken and trying to execute him. You made the choice out of desperation. No, more than that. You must have realized that Makoto, who refused to be manipulated, was a threat to you as well.
However...
But then there was another unexpected development waiting for you. The entity that threw a wrench, so to speak, in your precious execution machinery. Alter Ego. You never imagined possibly being able to come to our aid even after you killed it.
Am I wrong?
Now here's the absolute truth. Makoto didn't kill Makuru. You did.
Listen to me.
So executing Makoto would surely be a violation of your rules, which I know you love so much. If the black getting exposed, they alone will be executed. That's what you told us, right? And that means I lose? You talk a big game. You're saying the blacken is me and not Makoto?
Well?
And you can't prove this, and you can prove this, right? What is this, a counter routine to make this role claim without a shred of evidence?
That doesn't matter.
I don't have any right now, but with a little more time, I guarantee I'll find some.
That's right.
Because no matter how deeply you try to bury it, there's only ever one absolute truth.
Because...
If Makoto really was the killer, he never would have come to you willingly like this. He would have feared for his life, feared another execution. He would have been gripped by the despair you love to inspire.
However...
But here we are, confronting with nothing but hope in our hearts.
What the heck?
And that's supposed to be enough to convince me in the absence of evidence?
Indeed.
It's not you I'm trying to convince.
Hey.
If you want to execute Makoto right now, everyone out there watching this would be extremely displeased. Huh?
Indeed.
Imagine what everyone there would think if you killed Makoto. They would assume you killed him because he was what he says exactly right.
Listen to me.
Despair can never kill hope.
Hey.
Of course, you could say we're just making this all up. You're welcome to prove us wrong. No, you have no choice but to prove it. Because if you kill Makoto without reviving your own innocence, you'll be accepting your own defeat. Ooh, hit a nerve, huh, Monokuma?
That's what we have to do.
So, what's this advice of yours?
It's true.
To do Makoto's trial over again. On this time, follow school regulations to ensure it's a fair trial.
It's time for one last showdown. One final battle between hope and despair. Hey.
Barrett!
Barry?
What's wrong?
Oh, I was getting bored, so I was saying things as low. So, time for beer jokes. Now you've suggested something might be possible. It would certainly make for one honey of a climax.
In other words...
You guys!
If we do things your way, that'll be more enough to convince you and the viewers, right? And that would cause you the unbearable despair, right? Then I'm prepared to agree with your terms. Will your hope win, or will my despair claim victory?
I can barely contain myself!
Let's have one final grisly showdown!
Barrett!
But this is just a long way climax, right? Just guessing the killer is barely a fitting in.
You guys!
So for this final fast, you have to learn all the mysteries that have been buried here. All the mysteries? That's right, every last mystery that's pawing around the skull. If you can do that,
I can barely contain myself!
then that'll be enough to qualify as a victory for you.
It's true.
Then let's bear it all. You could claw your way to the truth of Makoto's death and solve the mystery of the school.
You guys!
I can barely contain my excitement. You know the whole truth. What kind of despair will you show me?
Listen to me.
How will the ultimate spirit revel in their own despair?
Hey.
Before we get started, I want to clarify one more thing. Do you remember the rule? When one student kills another, that's when a class trial is held.
What's wrong?
Hey.
I just want to confirm, that is what you said, right? And it's a true statement? You don't have to be so suspicious. I've said it before, but it bears repeating. Everything is based on school regulations, and having a trial from Makoto is no exception for that. Huh? Kill Makoto. Oh, it's a very polarizing. Here's a hint. I'm sure I told you this already, but the killing game began with 60 participants, all of them high school students. The only people to take a single step in hope since the killing game began are the 16 students. What?
Listen.
Are you telling the truth? Why do you go quiet all of a sudden?
Now I'm really...
Whew.
Hey!
Okay, I'm gonna be quiet for a minute.
However, whew. So, because so listen. Indeed. However, in other words, so it would seem in other words, correct. Hey. That's right.
But that's ridiculous, yeah.
It's true.
You're right, it is ridiculous, completely irrational. It's the kind of thing that nobody but those who call themselves the Ultimate Despair would devise. That group whose only purpose and motivation comes from despair. That's really the only reason for making the rest of us suffer.
Makoto. In other words,
because their goal is to broadcast the killing game to the world. The Mastermind has to be more particular than is reasonable about their own regulations. If the Mastermind simply ignored the rules, this wouldn't have been a game, but a one-sided slaughter.
At the very least.
At least that's how those who are watching this would have seen it. And that's why the Mastermind couldn't kill any of us themselves.
Indeed.
No matter how much they may hate what I'm doing, I haven't violated a single one of their regulations. Junko broke the rules, so she was punished. But in my case, they couldn't lay a finger on me.
Right.
But they began a trial that didn't have a right answer, then made me out to be a killer. But even that didn't work.
It's true.
Yeah, thanks to you. And due to that failure, the Mastermind took yet another risk. They attempted to kill you instead, who also was not the killer. And when that fact was exposed on live TV to the entire outside world, the Mastermind had to accept your suggestion.
Indeed.
To prove that the world that despair is better than hope, they would have to fear some perfect form.
In other words,
that would only do the Mastermind harm to show that they would violate their own regulations. But all that was a hunch, right? And you were still able to get the Mastermind to accept your challenge.
However,
can't believe how much the Mastermind's thoughts and plans you were able to figure out. It didn't have the slightest clue.
Wrong.
In the end, though, I couldn't prove any of it. It was just my reasoning. Essentially, I was making a bet. But it looks like I got it right. This time, at least, I won the bet. I haven't been that nervous in a long time. I totally couldn't tell you were nervous at all. It's totally kind from the moment we decided to go talk to him. Well, everything is strong to me as a final part of negotiation and persuasion, wouldn't you say? You're wonderful, Kyoko.
However... Correct.
Right.
Hey.
We have to tell it true, but do we know our real enemy?
However... Anyway... Shall we go?
Looks like Monokuma's up against the wall. He's done horrible things, but we're gonna win in the end. You again. How that... Is he broken?
Whew. However...
I wonder what that was all about.
Is that Makoto?
You guys!
It is! There's no two ways about it, that's Makoto! Huh?
You survived?
Jeez. You're like a stubborn little cockroach, you know that?
That almost sounded affectionate coming out of him.
I'm just asking to make sure, but you're not a ghost, right?
What?
What the heck?